Good morning, piggies. Look what I got for you. You want one? Here, have an apple. You can have an apple, and you get an apple. No need to fight. Everybody gets an apple. Everybody gets an apple, it's okay. Yes, we are officially coming into the height of apple season on the farm, and so that means I have lots of apples that have fallen on the ground that I can then feed to the Piggly Wigglies. So right now, I would actually say that 100% of the pig's diet is either apple drops, waste product from our garden or from a couple of neighbor gardens, and then some spent grains from my buddy Jeff's brewery. But actually, as I think about it, 100% is probably not 100% accurate because they also get some of our like kitchen waste scraps, like for example, an egg that was prematurely cracked, or some like old moldy cheese, or some rotten vegetables, and so they get all the kitchen scraps as well. But right now, I am feeding 3 pigs who are each probably roughly 250 pounds, nothing but waste product. I'm not paying anything for their feed. This is all stuff that would have just gone to waste or gone to the compost pile, but instead I'm happy to give it to these ladies. Who wants the kitchen scraps? Here we go. I'm gonna throw some kitchen scraps down. Who gets to experience that? Their favorite is actually the egg. Don't eat my camera. Don't eat the camera. I was gonna give you something else. Chill out. Cutie pretty much swallowed this GoPro and ugh. That is actually one of the things with the pigs I'm finding I have to watch out for is they're so big and pushy now. I actually have to be careful when I go in there to feed them.
I'd like a let it soft sail, let it soft sea. Let it rain. Let me soft sail. So that an apple fountain looks with a bird and a fire, a whole club looking at her. See it, why is it fly? Hey, you know, so they got no. Them baggage flat pants and the Reeboks spread down and get a big booty and fly. No, it's a fly, bringing no, so they got no. I ain't never seen none better than below. It's crazy all night spinning my dough, and a million on a blob in the butter to know. The birthday cakes they stole the show. So sexual, she was flexible, rough but to know, figure next to know. Hold up, wait a minute, do I see what I think I won't hit up?
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
You know, one thing folks have always insisted on to me is that pigs are very clean animals and they usually pick one spot to go to the bathroom, but I find that to be not true at all. They will go anywhere and everywhere. From right next to the spots where they eat to like right inside their house, they will just go to the bathroom. It's like she sprung a leak. I mean, that's just like gallons of pee that's just all going right inside their house and they don't seem to care. So I feel like my experience with raising pigs has taught me that that idea that pigs are very clean animals is kind of a myth. Like for example, right now they have access to, I don't know, it's about 1.5 acres of space in this area that goes back into our woods. But they seem to be going to the bathroom in the same spots that they like to sleep and eat in as well. So that's just been my experience. Overall though, they have settled into this area really well and have done a very good job of turning over the land and taking away a lot of the weeds and scrub brush that was here. I'm going to probably move them in about 2 or 3 weeks to what will ultimately end up being their final spot. So basically they're going to go from where they are right here to further down that way where you see all that brush and tall grass growing over near Alfred's excavator, and then eventually looping to in front of the new barn, clearing out that area because there's actually a really nice old oak tree right there too, so they'll be able to eat a bunch of acorns. But then it's going to be off to freezer camp for our girls. And that right there will be the conclusion of the Great Pig Experiment of 2023. In terms of the final results, they're still not in yet, but my current instinct is that I will probably raise pigs again in the future, but I won't raise pigs again next year. I think they might end up being a sometimes animal for our farm. Oh no, I gotta rescue the GoPro. Ew. What did you girls do to this one? My lord. Poor little camera. Now you can see over here, this is where the pigs were previously, and I'm starting to let all the grasses grow in. I put a bunch of clover and field peas and ryegrass all through here, and it's starting to grow back and basically just turn into nice little pasture, which very much was part of the plan with raising pigs here on the farm this year, in that I wanted to take the edges around like where it goes from being grass to forest and scrub and have the pigs help me clear that out. That experiment has worked out tremendously. But a different project that I was hoping on for this year is still kind of a flop. So as you guys know, last fall, my neighbor found a spring for me in the back corner, and one of my plans on my work plan for this year was to develop that spring and bring water from, I don't know, about 1,500 feet inside the woods all the way out to this area here so I could have future water for my animals and have constantly flowing water to feed my pond, as well as constantly flowing water that wouldn't freeze in the winter. And well, yesterday I actually set out to try to take some measurements and get that project finally going, but it did not go well. I've actually got a little project that I'm doing today. We're gonna be running some line through the woods to figure how far we have to go to develop a new spring here on the farm. The pigs, I'm gonna leave you here, and I'm heading off into the woods.
Previously on Goldshaw Farm.
I think I see it. You guys see it? Well, I'll be. Look at that.
This right here is the spring.
So more accurately, this is the spring box. So underneath this concrete circle that you see here is the spring, and they box it up.
And what that does is it lets it collect all the water, and then typically you're gonna have a spout or a spigot
Where that water runs off. You can see actually a lot of that water's running off down that way.
There we go.
You see that? That's water. Yeah, look at that. Looks really clean and clear in there too.
Yeah, the vegetation is kind of high up in here. I'm about to get soaked. I think the marker for the spring is just up there a little ways. Well, and this is why I still can't go. Maybe gotta wait a couple more weeks for the water to recede. What's up, Abby? It's just me. I'm just creeping in the woods. No need for alarm. Just me. So yes, as I trudged into the middle of the woods, I definitely found that the swamp is still so saturated with water because of the wet summer we've had. There's just no way that I'm gonna be able to get out there and do the work that I need to be able to run the spring line over here, at least for the time being. Because like I said, yesterday I was just going out there to do my measurements and just try to see how much piping I was gonna need and run like the most direct route from where the spring is all the way to where our farm is and like figure out all that stuff. And I couldn't even get in there to do that, let alone get in there and try to like run like 1-inch plastic polyethylene piping through the woods, and it's gonna be a mess. And I know that I'm gonna probably need a little bit of help from heavy equipment, and I don't wanna get stuck or create any problems. And so like it sometimes happens on the farm, that project is being delayed because I've learned that it's better to wait until the right time than try to force it and do it on the time that I wanted to do it at. I'm hoping that we have kind of a long fall period, and maybe I do get a chance to tackle the project later this fall. But at least right now in that early September time period, it does not seem like that's gonna be happening. I'm gonna give it a few more weeks before I try to go out there again. He's got the apple bottom pigs, the barn cats with the fur, all the livestock guardian dogs. We're looking at her. Hi, Abby dog. How's it going? How are you doing, sweetie? Hey, Mr. Toby dog. Toby gets his petting. Yeah, you'll get your petting in a minute, but Toby gets his petting. Yeah. Good boy, Tobes. Good boy. Yes, you were good. Come on, Toby, inside. As you can see, Toby has to do his one marking of territory before he comes back inside. This happens every single morning. Come on, Toby, inside. Let's go. Come on, buddy. Let's go, Mr. Territory. He really only is doing his job when he does that, because by marking his territory as far as he can go, that just extends sort of the magical protection of the livestock guardian dogs. And yes, I know that sounds like a lot of hocus pocus hooey gooey, but it kind of actually is true. All right, let's see how our chickens are doing this morning. So as you guys know, these are like next year's generation of laying chickens. You know, I like to get my laying chickens late in the season and really have them grow up and mature over the winter so that by the time February or March rolls around, they're just starting to hit their stride from an egg laying perspective. And so that's what most of these chickens are for. The large white chickens are actually what's known as the American breast chicken. It's a specialty breed of chicken primarily raised for meat, but actually a lot of people like them because they can be pretty decent dual purpose birds. You'll notice that those American breast chickens are much, much larger than the other chickens that we have here. So for example, let me do this side-by-side comparison between these two chickens. So the guy here on the right, he is an American breast chicken. That's that meat breed I was just telling you about. about. This lady right here on the left, she's what's known as, I think, a cream leg bar. These two birds are the exact same age. They were hatched on the exact same day. They arrived on the farm the exact same day. They have been fed the exact same amount of food. Like, everything about them is the same. But as you can see, just the size difference is massive in that this fella, I don't know, he probably weighs almost, I don't know, 4 pounds right now. And she might not even be 2 pounds. And so as you can see, different breeds of chickens give you different results. But at the same time, when I compare one of these American breast chickens to like a Cornish cross chicken, which have always seemed like big old meat pods to me, I like how active they are and they seem to work really well in our system of raising chicks. And so I think what I'm going to do is actually hold back maybe 1 rooster and 3 hens out of my American breast stash that I bought. And what that allowed me to do is hatch my own meat chickens next year. But overall, I'm very happy with all of the chicks that I have here on the farm. In fact, they're getting so big that I think I'm gonna actually start letting them stay out in the second layer. I could probably let them free range entirely, but I'm a little concerned that Lady Abington still seems a bit too interested in my chickens. And as you guys know, she has had a few chicken issues in the past, and so while she's been wonderful with ducks and geese and I haven't had any issues all year, I still don't trust her with the chickens just yet. At this point, I have taken out all of the brooder plates, and this is really just being used as a regular old chicken coop for the birds. They can come inside or outside. I actually don't close that outside door 24 hours a day, so they're completely at their own choice of when they go in and out. So far, it's working out good. I throw like a half a bag of shavings down every other day, and that's giving them nice clean bedding. And so these chickens are gonna live inside this area probably until we get to the winter time and I start to move all the birds into the hoop coop. And when that time arrives, I will move everybody into there with the adult chickens and I'll start to commingle all the flocks. Hey Toby Dog, you wanna go visit with Mama Rosie? Let's see how she's doing this morning. Good morning. How's it going, Rosie? So yes, Rosie and her chicks are doing really well. I think they're hiding in the corner because she knows I'm gonna come in here and investigate her little ones because those little baby chicks are absolutely adorable. I don't know if you can hear it, but the dogs are barking because they hear Rosie and the chicks getting upset in here. They always get quite exercised whenever they hear bird commotion, and which is kind of their job. But yeah, I wanted to show you these 2 chicks. So this one is one of the 2 black chicks that we had hatched. And as you can see by the feathering, definitely has that silky feathering gene going on here. But then this one, you know, when it was hatched, it was entirely white. And I gotta say, it was like a very interesting looking color. But now as you look at the coloring, it's cool. It's like this like feather patterning that's going on here. She's got this like little stripe on her head. She's got the big poofy fluffy thing like Rosie has. So I think this is gonna be a very, very pretty weird chicken. I'm actually even starting to think this might be a hen. I know I initially guessed that this was male, but I keep looking for spurs and I keep looking for other signs of being a rooster. And this is actually the smallest of the 3 chicks. And so that has me hopeful that she's a lady and she's gonna be able to stick around for quite some time. And then the other cool thing is she's what I think is known as a satin, where she's got the silky hairs and like feather hair type stuff, as well as like regular chicken feathers mixed together. So it's gonna be an interesting combination and hybrid. All right, you can go back to Mama Rosie now. Rosie looks so indignant right now. She's very upset with me for playing with her babies. So in my last video, in a fit of anger and frustration, I banished my youngest Gosling flock out to this upper permaculture orchard just as a way to keep them away from my greenhouse because I was so angered by the fact that they decimated the crops I was growing inside the hoop coop. As a little bit of an update, I will tell you guys that things are going very well with the mixing of flocks. There hasn't been a lot of chaos or violence. The younger flock is definitely a separate flock and is staying away from the ducks and geese for the most part, but they are also on the upside running through much more of the overall pasture and paddock, and so I see that as a very positive thing. And so they're actually making better use of the overall permaculture orchard, and they've actually been going where the heifers have been and eating the grass down by the heifers as well. And so far the experiment is going very, very well, and I'm very pleased. Now as far as the hoop coop goes and the food that I was trying to grow in the hoop coop to feed my animals in the winter, I gotta say that I'm pretty certain that the buckwheat crop is gonna be a total loss and I'm not getting anything from that. I also don't think I'm getting anything from the oats, and I also know that the chaos garden and all that kale and such is not in a good place either. But on the upside though, it does seem like most of my pumpkins have survived. There's some that have been destroyed, but most of them seem like they're doing really, really well. And so we will have the opportunity to feed a lot of the birds' pumpkins. I've already started to take some of the dead pumpkins and feed those to the pigs. And so I don't think it's gonna be a total loss. Hey, Mr. Pablo Barn Cat. Trying to take a bite out of my hand or give me a lick? I can't tell. Sometimes Pablo is very sweet, and other times he can be quite vicious. Dude, what are you doing, man? Ow, poor Abby. She just wants to say hi to Pablo, but I think the only one that Pablo likes is Toby Dog. So Pablo, are you excited about the new Toby Dog book coming out? You know, you play a pretty big role in the Toby Dog book too. Yes, because although the book is about Toby Dog, it features Pablo Barn Cat and Lil Barn Cat and Jemima Puddle Duck and Samson Puddle Duck very, very prominently. Abby Dog is not in the book because it's actually written and like takes place back in like 2019 and into 2020 prior to her birth and arrival here at the farm. Molly Barn Cat is not there as well for the same reason. But if I end up writing some sequels, these guys would end up showing up in future books. Here, Abby, you want some fresh water? No? You want to be pet instead? Okay. I know one of the things that I'm gonna definitely miss once we hit the winter is coming up here on the bike and riding around. I might even try to figure out a way to drive this thing up here in the winter. I mean, it does have the fat tires, so I don't know. We'll see how much I can get away with riding out here, but I just feel very, very free and relaxed when I'm riding around the farm on this bike. And so, yeah, I gotta figure something out. I think I wanna put some signs up around this gate. Maybe some sort of markers, name it or something like that. Sort of feels significant. Maybe I'll throw a flag of some sort up there. If anybody has ideas, drop them down in the comments. These papers are vibrating. I bet the chickens are gonna love them. Ugh, got some chicken poop on the 360 camera. More hazards to being a farm video maker. Hey, cows! Come on, cows! Hey, cows! Come on, cows! Fresh grass, come on! Hey, cows! Come on, cows! Fresh grass, come on! Hey, cows! Come on, cows! Fresh grass, come on! Hey, cows! Come on, cows! Fresh grass, come on! Whoa, 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 whoa! Hey, easy! Don't do that. Hey, cows! Come on, cows! Fresh grass, come on! Everybody always waits for the boss cow, that's for sure.